Hi guys! Wanted to read Watermelon Wishes for you in case you wanted to hear it again. Watermelon Wishes by Lisa Moser and illustrated by Stacy Schuett. Still got 'em? Asked Grandpap. Yes, said Charlie. He patted his pocket to make double sure. That's my boy. Grandpap opened the shed door. Charlie found a spade and a trowel. Grandpap grabbed the watering can. They piled everything into the wheelbarrow with the squeaky wheel. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Still got 'em? Asked Grandpap. Yep, said Charlie. Grandpap drove the spade into the sandy soil. Charlie crawled around on his knees, pushing the dirt into big hills. If you look at the border around each picture, it shows you what's happening in this part of the story. You can see they're digging and see the earthworms and the rocks under the ground. Still got 'em? Asked Grandpap. Right here, said Charlie. He pulled the seeds from his pocket. You plant the seeds, said Grandpap. I'll fill the watering can. Look, here's the water as the border in this picture. Tired, Charlie leaned against Grandpap. We'll grow great watermelons, said Charlie. Grandpap wiped his face with a red bandana. Think so? Maybe even a wishing watermelon, said Charlie. What's a wishing watermelon? Asked Grandpap. You'll see, Charlie told him. Charlie and Grandpap woke up early every morning and worked in their garden. Grandpap hoed a prickly thistle. Tell me more about this wishing watermelon. Charlie pulled a sneaky weed. It's a very special watermelon, and it can give you only one wish. There are a lot of things a fellow might want, said Grandpap. Do you have a wish? Charlie nodded. Bet I can guess it, said Grandpap. You can try, said Charlie. When I was a boy, I wanted a dog, said Grandpap. You're going to wish for a dog. Charlie shook his head. What do you notice about the clouds? Yeah, you see the dog? Goes along with the picture. I'm sorry, goes along with the words. When the first green shoots poked up, Charlie and Grandpap picnicked by the garden. Grandpap unpacked the sandwiches and cookies. Charlie poured lemonade from the thermos into the cup they shared. They took turns spotting new sprouts. Afterwards, they strolled the dirt path home. Grandpap unwrapped a butterscotch and handed it to Charlie. I know what you'll wish for, said Grandpap. Butterscotch. A whole basket of butterscotch. Charlie grinned. No, that's not it. When yellow flowers, and you guys remember what's going to come out of the yellow flowers, right? Yeah, the watermelon. When yellow flowers bloomed on the vines, Charlie and Grandpap celebrated. They rode their bikes to Grandpap's secret fishing spot. Charlie dug up worms. Grandpap tied a hook and line to branches he found along the shore. Then they sat on the grassy bank and watched their bobbers. Maybe you'll wish for a fishing pole, said Grandpap. A slick new rod with a shiny reel. I don't think so, said Charlie. When evening shadows, look, here's the dark sky and the stars. When evening shadows crept across the garden, Charlie and Grandpap played basketball. Charlie climbed the hay bales and pulled the peach basket to the top. Okay, shoot! Grandpap dribbled the basketball. Thunk, thunk, thunk. He heaved the ball into the air. Rattle, rattle, thud! Charlie cheered and fished the ball out of the basket. My turn, he yelled, jumping down. Grandpap raised the basket. Hey, maybe you should wish for a real basket hoop, said Grandpap. That'd be a good wish. Charlie just laughed. Rattle, rattle, thud. One hot day, Charlie and Grandpap counted 10 small watermelons growing around the vines. Then they piled into the old truck and Grandpap drove to the swimming hole. Charlie swam and splashed. Grandpap bobbed along in an inner tube. Now I know for certain, said Grandpap, you're going to wish for your very own swimming pool. Nope, said Charlie, floating by. And remember, we counted the watermelons on here to see if there were 10. If you want, you can pause the video and count them yourself. Even when the watermelons grew fatter and greener, Grandpap was still guessing. A red scooter? A new baseball glove? A giant ham sandwich? No, 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 Charlie laughed. You won't guess. Maybe you're right, said Grandpap. One morning in August, Charlie looked out the kitchen window. Today we'll find the wishing watermelon, he announced. Grandpap jumped to his feet. Yahoo! Let's go! Charlie looked over the watermelon patch, and Grandpap pointed to different watermelons. How about that one? Too big. That one? Too small. There are 3 good ones over there, said Grandpap. Too lumpy, too dirty, too squishy, said Charlie. You see the lumpy one here. Charlie walked to the edge of the garden. He peeked under a pile of leaves. Perfect! Here's the wishing watermelon. Grandpap lifted the watermelon into the wheelbarrow. Together they pushed the wishing watermelon to the house. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Remember that squeaky tire on the wheelbarrow? I'm ready to make my wish, said Charlie. Great, said Grandpap. Charlie closed his eyes for only a moment. Quick, my wish will be inside the watermelon. Grandpap cut a hole in the watermelon. Charlie stuck his hand inside. Squish, spluck, slurp. His fingers curled around the secret. My wish came true, he shouted. Grandpap clapped his hands. What was the wish? Do you guys remember what the wish was? Charlie opened his hand and showed Grandpap the small black watermelon seeds. I wished for another summer, just like this one. I wonder why he wanted to have another summer just like this one. Do you think it's maybe because he enjoyed all the time he spent with his Grandpap and he wants to do it again next summer? Grandpap took the seeds from Charlie's hand and wiped them clean. Carefully, he slid them into Charlie's front pocket. He tapped the pocket over Charlie's heart. Got him? Grandpap asked. Always, said Charlie. He leaned his head on Grandpap's shoulder and took a juicy bite of watermelon. The end. I hope you guys had a chance to eat some watermelon with black seeds in it. I sure did enjoy seeing all your watermelon wishes projects. See you next time.